As you can see, Lake Garda, conditions fruity, as described by Will. What I'm doing at this stage is, obviously just into the sequence, I use a fairly set routine, and that happens every start, be it a general recall or just a normal scheduled race start. Is I will go and take transits. So I always take a transit generally from the committee boat end down to the pin, wherever possible. If you're sailing in a venue where there isn't any land or anything obvious to pick out a transit from committee boat to the pin, then I'll go and sail to the pin and see if there's anything as a reverse transit. So that's looking back from the pin end to the committee boat end at the start line, to see if there's anything. And it's just a guide. It's obviously a lot trickier if you are using a transit from pin end to committee boat, because you're always looking over your shoulder. You're generally starting on starboard on most certainly bigger racetracks, so it's much harder to kind of look over your shoulder. But if you've got something there, it's always useful information. Of course, the committee boat to pin end transit is much more regular, usual, especially as you're kind of looking in that direction naturally as you start on starboard. So once I've got the transits, and I'll keep an eye on that. That's not just something I'll do at the beginning of the day. It might be they move the pin end after a general recall. So that's one thing to keep in your mind, is if you have a general recall or postponement, look at the ends. Look for the ribs going to the pin end to move it. Look at the anchor on the committee boat. Are they pulling it up? Are they dropping it back? Just go and repeat this. Just know, it's no harm to have it. It's really useful information, particularly on a long start line, where it's hard to judge your position relative to the start line. So that's key point number one. What I'll do, and you'll see me sailing along here occasionally, I'll glance sort of forward and through the compass, and that'll be getting a line angle. So once I've got the transits, I'll then sail up and down the line. I'll get the line angle, so that's the compass bearing sailing from one end to the other, and I'll use that then to generally do a head to wind at some point and confirm what the wind direction is, and that helps with the line bias. If you don't have a compass, what you can do is simply just go head to wind. It's a bit tricky when it's windy because you're kind of bouncing around the place, but I'll be go head to wind, and you can use the traveller, at 90 degrees, and see which end is more favourable by looking along the traveller and seeing if it's pointing above or below the one end of the start line. So I've now found where I want to start. Now in Lake Garda, it's generally about getting right. Generally at the committee boat as well, it's quite busy. So I sort of started just down the line because I know I'm reasonably quick in the breeze, so I don't need to start at the boat. But I just want to find a clear lane just down the start line and finding position. So now I've tacked into the final position. Within the last minute, particularly in a bigger fleet, you don't really want to be doing full of manoeuvres. The centreboard isn't too far down, so I don't want to get in irons. And I'm just playing the sheeting, lots of steering here. You've got to be careful that you don't get pinged for sculling, but you're just trying to maintain steerage at this point. You'll notice the first thing I kind of go for, sheeting on now, hiking, it'll be vang on. There goes the vang, and now it's hike hard. So now's the point where if you're going to work hard for the 30 seconds at a race only, this is the moment you've got to hike hard. Being a bit lazy here actually. So now's the key point. The boat's flat in this chop. We'll talk about technique in a different video. But now you've just got to get off the start line. You've done the first 30 seconds and you're moving forward on the fleet. Great. What's happening next? Here we go. This is me tacking, rolling to the right hand side of Lake Garda. So just those are the routines I use. Always worthwhile doing that, I would suggest.